Robert Horry. Allie Clifton's going to join in a little bit. Mike Trudell will handle the post-game duties from Portland. Lakers get blown out in the Northwest. 5-5 after 10 games. That's not what we all expected a month ago when we were going through those first 10 games. Kind of a recipe for disaster tonight, really, with no LeBron. AD only plays 7 minutes, and you got a Portland fan base and a Portland team ready to go. Only stat I'm going to give you is this, guys, to start the show. First and third quarters, 78-40. James and Rob, 78-40 Blazers. That's minus 38 in the first and third quarters.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like we're going to have to wait a while. I mean, this game was, it was Portland's game. Damian Lillard only scored, 4 points the last game out. You know he was going to come back and try to win at home. But, yeah, the Lakers just, they're not in sync on either end of the floor. There's no excuses, but we are missing players. Tucker's out, Nunn's out. LeBron, a major ingredient. Russ still fighting his way through situations. It doesn't look good. They shouldn't get outplayed the way they were outplayed. They shouldn't be getting out rebounded and things like that. But when you're not in sync, it starts to affect the mental capacity. And sometimes you're not ready. You think you are. You're going through the motions. They're in a tough spot right now without any continuity of players that they can depend on for 5 or 6 games straight so they can get some type of connection. They don't have it. And it's showing up in games against Oklahoma. It's showing up against young teams like Memphis. And it's showing up just about every game. So they got a lot of work to do. A lot of pressure on the coaching staff right now to try to, create some stability and get some players back on the floor and practice.
If you look at the way they came out very relaxed. Like, okay, Portland's been struggling, Damian Lillard's been struggling, and this is a team that you can attack and get a win, maybe. But it was the opposite. It's almost like Portland said, you know what, this Laker team is struggling. None of their players are shooting the ball exceptionally well, so we can go out and attack them. And Portland came out with a lot of energy. And the Lakers got to realize, even though their record doesn't show how good they could be, everybody's going to go at the Lakers just because they are the Lakers. They have LeBron James. They have Carmelo Anthony. They have all these future Hall of Famers on their team. And so they need to come out with some type of energy and some type of effort every night because people are going to come at them each and every night. Because I guarantee you, on their board, in the locker room, they're saying this is our championship game. This is a team that's supposed to win the West. This is how we can, see how we stack up.
Yeah, you talk about matching energy, and you fall behind by 22 in the first quarter in the game, 34. And listen, there are nights when you get blown out in the NBA. We all know that. But it's a snowball effect, right? I mean, you see those 2 losses against OKC. You see the 3 losses against the playoff teams, at least that you consider playoff teams, in Golden State, Phoenix, and Trailblazers. So, like you said, James, there hasn't been too many positives, right? I mean, at 5-5 through the first 10 games, this is definitely a struggle. Tonight, it was all ends, but offensively never in a rhythm, right? When you just look at the way they shot. I mean, they finished at 34%, but that was well below 30 until those last few minutes. It was 23% from 3. It moved up to 28 because they got a couple of points at the end. I mean, James, with 2 minutes left, they only had 78 points. They ended up with a season low 90. This
is a film you don't even want to look at because there's a million things that you could point out. It was just no continuity. I mean, when you're missing players, that's going to happen. But where's the fight? There's got to be some fight on the defensive end. Everybody can play defense and, try to affect the game that way. But I don't think they're there. I don't think they have any connection on defense.
It's on that second unit that showed some fight.
Second unit?
Yeah, we're playing hard, but if you look at the plus-minus from the starting unit, it's not there tonight, big fella.
And that's where it has to start. It has to start with them. And the guys that come in behind that, they're there to sustain or try to pick up. And they did. They chipped away at it. I think they got it down to, 12. But they just could not sustain the defense toward the end of the half. Portland took it back up.
Let's talk Russ tonight. No starters in double figures. We mentioned AD only playing 7 minutes, stomach ailment, so wasn't the thumb, is what we were told. 2 points, just 1 for 5. Russ, 1 for 13 tonight. The only make was a 3, actually, Rob.
I know. If you look at the
8 points.
When you watch Russ play, and when he's been on other teams, he go to the basket and if he can get to the rim, it's a bucket. It's like now he's short arm and stuff. He's missing layups. I've never seen Russ miss this many layups. In the last 10 games, he probably missed more layups now than he ever has in his whole entire career. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Is he thinking too much? Is he worried about this guy, that guy? You know, and it's been a lot of air balls too. I'm like, what's going on? I hope he don't have the yips or something, but I think with Russ, I think he didn't have one game where he just tries to dunk everything. Because right now, the layups aren't working, the jump shot's not working. He need to either go into Rondo mode where he's reluctant to shoot or something. But hopefully Frank Vogel will find a way to make the game easier for him, because we always want to make the game easier for the guys that aren't the superstars, because we figure the superstars can figure out. They can get theirs. But right now, I think Russ is struggling so much. You need to find some plays for him to make it easier for him, where he can get some buckets, get some easy jump shots, and not gonna make it so hard for him, because right now he is really struggling.
Yeah, when you think of this team offensively, let's just say, hopefully AD's playing, but with AD not there and LeBron not there, THT not there, none not there, those are 4 guys that create. So now it's coming down to who's left. Not many guys that can create that shot. I mean, Melo obviously has been great offensively for the Lakers. Not tonight.
Yeah, you can't depend on Melo to be a creator or, put the ball on the floor too much. He's definitely capable. And Russ is the guy that can do it. But I think, it just seems like he's under a lot of pressure, more so than he was at Oklahoma, more so than he was at Houston, Washington. Coming to Los Angeles with LeBron out, he probably's thinking, I'm the guy that's got to do it. And I think he's pushing himself just a little bit too much. I do agree with Rob. They got to find something to make it easier for him. He's attacking at 1,000 miles an hour right into the teeth of the defense. And I think that's why he's missing layups, because when he gets to the rim, he's not really under control. But I think they need to look at some of his tapes when he was in Washington, Houston, and figure out where he can get the ball in position to make it easier, because he's taking it right into the teeth of the defense, trying to make really tight marginal passes that are tough. And he's trying really hard to fulfill his role. And I think Russ will find it, but right now he's forcing an issue, because I think he still has moments where he's trying to prove that he belongs here, and he's trying to lead, one big game, 30-something points, and then he tries to keep that trend going. But when you don't have all the missing pieces, it's difficult for him. But they need to find a way to make it easy for him, because we know what he can do when he's in that position.
Rob, the Lake Show podcast,
yes,
starring Allie Clifton and Mike Bresnahan.
Uh-huh.
You've been on it.
Yes.
There's a little segment we do with stats you like or you don't like, and you give one. So I'm going to give you a stat I don't like.
Okay.
So Dame had a rough night last night, 4 points. Stat I don't like, Dame, 25. Lakers starters, 24. Dame bounced back with 6 threes.
That's awful.
Yeah,
That's
25-24, Rob.
That's just bad. And when you have superstar players like that, and they just came off a 2-point night.
Yeah, 4 points.
4 points. I'm sorry. You should automatically, coach. Every time he gets the rock, we double team him. We gonna keep him in that slump.
Yeah.
We're not gonna be the team he comes out of this slump on. And a lot of times, people sit back and they want to say, okay, we're gonna stick with our defense. This is what we do. Sometimes you got to break the norm. You got to go outside the box and say, okay, we're going to keep this guy down. And they didn't keep him down. You saw what Stu said. He's going left, bucket. And every time Stu said that, he went left, and it was a bucket. And you can't let that happen. It was no resistance. Every time he came over, it was just like he was in the gym by himself. And that goes back to the defense and not talking on defense, not understanding who you are. We always had the Jordan rules. We had the Iverson rule. We had the Kobe rules. There's certain players that have certain rules and you need to follow them.
It is strange to have Dame only averaging 18 points per game, but where that's going. Big game, it's only going up. Well, he's one of the best scorers,
The thing you put on the board, the chalkboard before the game, This guy is not going to beat us, okay? You got other 4 guys out there. You're going to let them load up and get some points, but you're not going to let Damian do it.